I ask Mr. Webb this or any guests all the time.
I still haven't done one with my butt cheeks, though.
Was that close?
Hey everyone, it's me, it's us, it's all of us here. We're all meeting each other down here in the man cave. That's right. I've got my good buddies here. Actually, a very special guest along with Mr. C Webb. Mr. C Webb, if you would not mind introducing our special guest, I would be greatly appreciated for that.
I don't know if he needs an introduction. I mean, there's really not anything that I could say that the man hasn't, already been precedented by. He's it's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. Chris Morgan himself.
Now, see, when you say it like that and you introduce me like that, people are going to call you a Morganite. You've heard that term before, so be careful of that.
I've heard that, and I don't care.
A Morganite.
I don't care.
That's right. We have Mr. the Legend, wMp. That's right. We have him in the room with us, folks. Yes, he's joining us with us, via phone right now because he is celebrating his holiday weekends up in the Hamptons, and the signal's so terrible up there. But at least he called us up to join us here on this amazing podcast that not only can you find us here on fucking YouTube, but you could find us on your favorite podcasting app. So for you folks out there that are downloading, streaming, it doesn't matter. You're getting all of our beautiful voices right now, including our special guests.
Sorry to backtrack a little bit, but the thing that stood out on the whole thing was fucking YouTube. I mean, is that like Pornhub?
Oh, you got to stick with it, baby. You just got to stick with it.
Well, that if we're talking about Pornhub, stick with it is a whole new meaning. Okay.
Kind of like RedTube.
It's just what I roll with. It helps, inspires me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
RedTube? Yeah, we're missing out on some shit.
Yeah,
but seriously, we're here down in the man cave. Apparently, we're getting ready to have a circle jerk here in a moment, but no. But that's what we do here. We talk about all kinds of things, not just horror, cars, music, random shit. Boy, I'm ready, guys. I'm ready already.
Meet Us in the Man Cave is now brought to you by Blue Chew and forhims.com.
Oh, God. That's right.
Get it on, bang the gong. Get it on, bang the gong.
Need a few more of these.
Are you getting sick and tired of always losing at hide and go seek? Well, go open a can of Meet Us in the Man Cave beer. It friggin' tastes awesome.
Drink responsibly. Only available at Bubba.
I got to ask my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. Webb.
Please.
How you been doing, sir? How's life been treating you since we're celebrating the New Year's, by the way?
Oh, well, I don't know if anybody can tell out there, but I'm very obviously on country internet now. And that's been mostly the thing that's been holding us up.
Riverside's saving us.
It is saving us. But in all honesty, I think I'm a little choppy. I'm a little behind. I don't mean to be disrespectful to our guests or anything, but man, I don't know what else to do. Just
maybe it's the heat that's going to help.
I don't have none of that here. I'm freezing my balls off.
So for all you fine folks out there that are watching and listening, you have to realize Chris is out in a man cave that I have witnessed in person that we will be showing you in the future. It was technically a 2-car garage that has no heat. So that's some dedication right there to you folks. He's freezing his balls off right now.
Yeah, heat's going to be installed next week. It'll be all right. It's really this internet issue that it's really griping my ass. I don't know what else to do. But we're on Frontier right now. We're getting 80 download and 4 upload. So it's not too good.
Oh, welcome back, dial up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shitty.
You've got mail.
And of course, as Mr. Webb has introduced our special guest here, you know what, Webb? I know for the longest time we have been talking about this gentleman behind us back here on the podcast, how we've been looking forward for him to join us here.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
Dude.
Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. How you been?
Oh, well, thank you guys for having me, but we got to stop with this special guest stuff because like we were saying before we went live, you know, we're human beings. We're all pieces of shit in our own way, every single one of us. So, if you want to say our special piece of shit guest, I that's fine, but the special guest stuff makes me feel like I'm more important than I am, and I'm definitely not. So, but
But
the
to my
pleasure.
son, you are.
It really?
Yeah. I'm trying to save myself here. So
to me, you're a genius, sir.
Well then, for your son, I will take it. How's that?
Okay. Zach, did you hear that? Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. See?
Well, thank you, Zachary. But Scott, you're a good ventriloquist. I will give you that.
He's speechless. You left him. You have, wow. You really accomplished something. I was just gonna say, for me, I mean, it's just I just respect you, man. I know it comes off as like I don't know the word for it, man crush. I don't know. Like I always talk about your work and how great of a dude you are, and it's just like, man, I respect your knowledge. I respect your experience. I respect the whole deal, man. So I will still use special guest. Forgive me. But
well, I appreciate that. But this is definitely a treat for me. For everybody listening out there that may or may not know, I used to run a podcast called Halloween Unleashed, and I get asked almost daily, if not weekly, if it's ever going to come back. The answer is no. Why? Because I found you guys' podcast, and I've become a pretty big fan of this. And I know people can't see it. I'm sporting one of your shirts right now.
Meet Us in the Man Cave apparel available now. Get your very own Meet Us in the Man Cave house, boat, car, child, guitar, batteries, dishes, household apparel, kitchen apparel, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, shower curtains, phone cases. Oh, the list could go on and on and on. Isn't that right, Chris?
Question. Can I do it with my butt cheeks?
Meet Us in the Man Cave apparel available right now at redbubble.com. Remember, only a few of those items are available, including hats.
You guys can back me up on that. But you guys do a really good job. You guys help me get through my work day. Whenever you guys have a new episode come out, I listen, and I respect the hell out of what you guys are doing, because you guys are reaching a much broader audience than I ever could, in a sense that you're not just talking about one subject matter over and over and over again. You guys are talking about everything, and it's literally like sitting around with a group of friends, drinking a couple beers and bullshitting, and that's what it should be about. And you guys definitely did the right thing. Scott, I've known for years. Webb, I've done one of these live podcast things with, when I did Unleash, when we were talking about kills that one night, and you passed out on us in the middle of it.
But that was a good night.
But it was a great night. It was a great night. Unfortunately, I don't speak to any of those people anymore, unfortunately. But it's really cool to see two people that I do respect, and Scott has always been good with the YouTube stuff, and Webb, I didn't even know that you had podcast stuff in you, because I didn't know much about you, but like hearing you guys banter, and you can definitely tell you guys are friends, but you guys play off each other very well. It's always a very entertaining show, and there's never a moment where I'm going, God, get to the point. Let's get on with the show. And there's plenty of podcasts out there like that, but you guys with your banter and your friendship, it definitely comes through the audio stream every week. And I'm just happy that that now I can sit back and say to people, when people ask me, are you ever going to come back with Unleashed? I said, no, I'm not. I may do a Facebook Live once in a while just to say hey and talk about something that is, relevant at the time. But I said, if you guys are looking for a podcast to listen to, there's two of my buddies that are doing a really good one. And it's because of that podcast that I know that they are light years more than what I ever wanted to be. So you guys are doing a great job, and I'm proud of both of you for sure.
Dude, thank you for that.
Chris, go ahead. Sorry.
We're just full of bullshit.
Webb.
We're just full of bullshit. That's all. We just bullshit the whole time, don't we, Scott?
But it's entertaining bullshit.
Meet us in the man caves. Underwear that's fun to wear. Super duper absorbent materials that absorbs 25 times its weight, neutralizes that shitty and pissy odors with our lavender musk scent. Shitty male protection to pissy male protection. Maximum overloads. Meet us in the man cave's fresh protection underwear that's so damn fun to wear. Now come on, what are you wearing?
Only available at Bubba.
I can't thank you enough. Those are, just thank you. It makes me feel proud. And Chris Webb, he's grown into, from day one, you could see how this is really, he's got a gift with it. He's great with his words. Mm-hmm. When we get into even subject matters that are serious, it's like he's an artist with it. And I've tried to tell him that time and time again. And maybe it goes in one headset to another, but he's really good at it.
Yeah, there's nothing in between his headsets.
Except for his legendary ball cap. But no, Morgan, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And I want to ask you something real quick. It's related to Webb's situation with you being, and let's face it, you are a master at it. As long as you have been crafting the beautiful mask that we all love and adore so much, white mask production. With Webb's situation right now in his man cave, with the cool temperatures, and it's 30s, and maybe it's in the 40s right now in his room, and I'm just guessing, with no heat, is that going to cause any damage? That more than half of his collection is a mask that you have produced, that you created with your own two hands.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to cause any, issues with the latex in that temperature?
Not that I'm aware. Trust me, if I'm wrong, there'll be plenty of people that'll tell me I'm wrong. But if it was extreme heat, you would have issues. But as far as like extreme temperatures, the only time I've known, and this is just the only time I've known to latex having issues with the cold is when it's in liquid form. Just because, yes, latex is a natural compound because it comes from trees and the whole 9 yards. But there are other chemicals that make up the casting process of that latex to make the mask that I make and people like to wear. So my point is on that is if it was in liquid form, that's why it's like back when I was shipping latex or buying latex, I had to make sure I stocked up or stocked someone else up before the temperatures got too cold. Because if they got below 40 degrees in shipment, unless you did an overnight shipment, you can't guarantee that you're not going to get a barrel of latex that is going to be bad because it got too cold. But as far as it being cured, I don't think that there's an issue, but I could be wrong on that.
There's a possibility that someone else may have their man cave out in a garage right now, lives in Ohio or in this colder climate, and I'm hoping that they are hearing this right now and they're like, I'm in the same situation. At least I'm getting somewhat information from somebody who has created this from a liquid form into what I'm holding right now, which is your mask that you created that was given to me, as I've stated so many times in this podcast, from Mr. Webb. Your economy. Your economy. Can we go there? Is that all right if I your economy?
Yeah,
Please correct me if I got any of it wrong.
we can go there. What do you want to know?
The economy 78. Can you give us a little, little story behind the mask about the economy mask?
Yeah,
You don't mind.
so it really the economy, like, and there's a lot of people that ask me, like, what makes it an economy? It's just first of all, you don't get any customization on it. It's stock. It is what it is. It has already sculpted in eye cuts. The glue marks are already there. You're going to get a pretty much a very standard finish. A solid dark brown hair. So if you're one of those that, well, I prefer the blonde hair misted black, well, you're not going to get it on the economy. Um, you know, you might want to go to a Ghost 78, which is what the economy comes from. The Ghost 78, I put it back in clay, and I redefined some of the features so you weren't getting the same mask just in a stock form. Um, I I did something different with the jawline. I did something different with the V brow, with the cheek lines, with the eyebrows, and I reshaped the eye cuts just so that it was just more of a stock boogeyman mask, and really that's really what you're getting. And it's no different latex, no different hair, really. Like as far as the fiber goes, it's a chocolate brown versus it being a medium brown or sandy brown or a blonde sprayed black. It's just a stock, and that's really what makes it economy. And the reason I did that is the less customization I do, like anybody that's listening to this that's ever worked in, let's just say, the automobile industry, you can change your own oil all you want. You can change your brakes all you want. And yeah, you may save on the labor, you may save on the time or not time, but you may save on the labor. But you know, anything that you do custom or anything that you take and do somewhere else and pay someone to do, there's going to be labor costs involved. And the more customizations you have, the labor cost goes up. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to eliminate all the customization and all of the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is what you're going to get, like it or not, for a set price. And since, we are living in tougher times, people still want masks to collect. They want something better than that is off the shelf, bought in a store. They want the independent stuff, but they want like a either rehauled price tag. Well, there you go. The Economy 78 is your off the shelf, no customization, but independent flair for something that is well within your rehaul price.
Damn. I didn't know that, dude. I'm so used to where I'm at with the whole mass collecting part of it. Like I don't even question about customizing anything. Like I'm I'm just like, dude's gonna treat me right. Like just this is what I want. Like just I know you'll deliver. I don't even ask anymore. I didn't know that was anything about
I
it.
appreciate that.
Damn.
Let me clean that up a little bit because somebody might say, well, he charges extra for customization. No, I don't. I build the customization into each of my prices because I know that there's going to be customization, but at the same time, time and labor, everything is time and labor. Like the more time, the more labor you spend, it drives up the cost. It just does. I mean, it's like that in every single aspect of any business. Why would it be any different here?
Naturally, of course, as Morgan thankfully is explaining, the man who is responsible for this mask, and I'm doing my best to model it. I mean, imagine, let's say you're a guy my size who's naturally not skinny anymore, and you're always like, but I can't find a mask that fits me right. Morgan, I'm going to pretend like I don't know the difference between, hey, ladies, Mr. Big here. The economy, about what size is this?
I think the one that you have is about 24, 24 and a quarter. Like, but if anybody that's ever shopped anything with me before, first and foremost, I do various sizes on pretty much everything that I do. 25-inch of mine doesn't fit you. I'm sorry, I can't do a 26. 25 is my limit, but I will go as small as a 23. But what you have is 24 and a quarter. I try to, think of everybody's head size, but for that less than 1% that has a 26-inch head, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Yeah, you got a 24 and a quarter, and yeah, that's what
So
yours
there you
is.
go.
That thing is beautiful.
If, as you can tell, I don't have a tiny little face, but this thing fits me perfectly. If I chose to buy, let's say, want to purchase an economy mask, reach out to White Mask Productions, and I want to wear something for Halloween. There you go. Just say, I look about Scott's size. Bingo. Beats the hell
Can
out
I
of.
can I just sneak this in here too? This
Sure.
is something that piggybacks off of that.
Sure.
Is Webb will be the first one to tell you is I have a 14-day trade out policy, no questions asked. If something doesn't fit you right, okay, if it's too big, contact me immediately. I'll pay to ship it back, and we'll try to get you in a proper size. I try to take all my pictures naturally. Some people say, hey, how come you don't do costume shots, or how come you don't do stylistic shots? I try not to do that. I know that there's a lot of artists who get into a lot of that stuff, and I am not saying anything bad about that. There's some beautiful pictures that are taken out there of, and if they want to get into doing that, more power to them. That is totally up to them and acceptable. But for me, I want to try to stay as true to what I created for you as possible with no edits. And but if you get a mask from me and it does not look like it does in the pictures, once again, contact me. I will trade it out if you're not happy. It's that simple. I don't want anybody that's ever purchased from me to walk away and say, I didn't get my money's worth, or I need to sell it because it doesn't fit, or it didn't look like it did in the pictures in person. I've been on the collector side before. I've also been on the artist side, and I've heard the stories from collectors that I've become friends with who bought from other people who have had that experience. That is a terrible position to be put in. And a lot of times collectors don't speak up and say that because they're afraid they're going to piss the artist off. I'm not one of those guys. I'm one of those people that if you're respectful and you handle it professionally, I'm cool. You start being a dick, yeah, I can be a dick right back. I mean, just like anybody can. But I try to be as accommodating as possible. And if you're not happy, well, guess what? You're holding my business card. If you're not happy and it's shit, that's a reflection on me and my work, and I can't have that. So it just made more sense to me. And plus, you guys are spending a lot of money on these things. Why wouldn't I offer that customer service, that level of satisfaction? You're spending your hard-earned dollar, your entertainment dollar, on something that you wait several weeks for, sometimes several months for. Why not get it exactly the way you want it? Period.
It just, that 14-day thing, and I will totally vouch for that. Because in every package I've gotten, I've always gotten that card. It's always sent. But yeah, just the fact of that return policy, because I mean, that just shows that you want to make people happy. You care about your reputation out in the world. I mean, I won't say it's unheard of, I guess, but it's very rare in this hobby, I think, to see that level of dedication. So I do respect it.
How many times have you guys heard from either a friend, another collector, or whatever that says, yeah, I got this mask and I'm probably going to sell it, not real happy with it. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to upset them. Trust me, I've heard that before back when I was a collector, before I ever even thought about touching masks. I heard that all the time. I've been on that side before. I've been the guy that has spoken up before, and I got raked over the coals for it. And I'm going, I don't ever want to feel like that again. So I'm going to learn to just close my mouth and not say anything. So once I got into it and started doing it, I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like that I shortchanged them, or that they didn't get their money's worth, or they didn't get what they were promised, or they didn't get what they saw in the pictures. Because if that's ever the case, then guess what? I failed. And I'm sorry. If I've got to redo it 100 times, I'll redo it 100 times, as long as you end up with what you want. Because here's the truth of it, Scott. That thing that mask you're holding in your hands. If 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 you got it and you weren't happy with it, and you said, "Hey," and let's just say this was a customizable mask. These are pretty standard. So maybe this is a bad example, but let's just say that was a Ghost 78 that you're holding. That's fully custom. And you reached out to me because, like, part of my job is to try and get inside your head with your vision of what you want, because everybody has their own vision. If you got something in your hands and you're like, I really wish I would have had a little bit more weathering or less weathering or different color hair or this or that or the other thing, doesn't matter, whatever it is, chances are there's somebody out there, when I posted your pictures, that saw your mask and said, I really like that copy, I wish I had that copy. Well, if you're not happy with it, you got to send it back, and I got to do something different on a new mask. Guess what? I get to sell your old mask to someone that really liked your mask. Maybe it wasn't for you, and that's okay. I'm not going to have any trouble selling it. So that's why I've never understood why anybody would get upset about someone not being fully satisfied, because here's the hardest part of any artist job, is getting inside their customer's head to figure out what it is that they see. Because I can tell you what I see all day long, but guess what? I'm not the paying customer, you are.
And if don't mind adding right now, people that are watching this on YouTube, I have a very harsh light up here. Okay. And so it's shining very bright right now on this mask. And when I edit these videos, when I balance my colors, it's just balanced. So if you're seeing something right now that you're like, whoa, keep in mind, there's a very bright light on a mask that I think we all are pretty much accustomed to of seeing, the shape. And right now, he's shining, but he still looks sexy as hell. I just wanted to point that out.
I think it looks great.
Oh, and speaking of economy masks, I understand you also have an economy version of the H6. Am I correct?
I do. It's actually one of the H6 masks that put me on the map way back when I started in 2009. I was fortunate enough, at the time when I was getting into all this, there was a lot of molds for sale. There was masks that were retired way back when I started, I'm like, I'm just going to buy up old molds, and I'm going to try and bring some of these pieces back that were retired for people that never got a chance to ever own them, because there were several. And Halloween 6, say what you want about that film. Anybody listening can say what they want about that film. And you know what? I probably agree with most of it. The script was a mess. Some of the subplots were a mess. The problem production is the folklore that draws you into it. Come on, what they got right, they got really right. The mask looked fucking great. The music, the soundtrack, the atmosphere. It was the first Halloween film I ever saw in theaters, so it was like, it holds a special place in my heart. But I was always very, very, very fond of the mask. No, it's not the original. I will give you that. It's not the original, but it is the best. And I know there's a lot of 2018 kills and ends mask, and I know ends is very polarizing. We won't get into that. But the masks of those films are held in very high regard. So, but for me, the Halloween 6 mask is the best sequel mask that was produced. it helped sell that look. And I remember when I was I remember watching the trailer for it the very first time. I know this is a very long-winded answer, but trust me, I'm going somewhere.
Enjoy yourself. That's why we want you here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
When I first saw the very first trailer back in '95, I was in love with the mask. I wanted to see more of it. And when I was in the theater on opening night, September 29th, 1995, and I'll never forget, I became even a bigger fan of that mask. And as I went along, I got into collecting in '99. So this is what is this going to be, my 25th? This is my 25th year, right? 25 years? 25. Yeah, 25 years. So I've been in this some form or another for 25 years. So I've seen a lot of shit on both sides of the coin. But I always wanted to find a Halloween 6 mask. It wasn't until 2001 when SSN, which is Silver Champagne Novelty, Sean Clark, for those that didn't know, wasn't around back then, he released a Halloween 6 mask called The Curse. And my jaw hit the floor, went nuts, went crazy. I got the number 10 copy of that mask. And it stayed with me for 8.5 years until I sold it. And I only sold it because I was making my fan films. Then, the mask wasn't being made anymore. He came out with the George P. Wilbur signature series. Then he came out with the SSN 6 SIX. But the Curse was no longer being produced. I ran into him at a couple conventions trying to convince him to make me one because I regretted selling that mask. I said, or just, if you still have the mold, can you please just pour me a blank and I'll convert it myself. I'll paint it myself. Or I'll have somebody do it. Never worked out. But CGP, Terry Lambert, was producing CGP H6 V2. I wasn't around. I was out of the hobby for a little while when he was doing the V1. There's been numerous things of where that came from. I'm not going to get into it because I wasn't around and I wasn't there for it. It's not my business. But the CGP H6 V2 caught my eye because it looked like the reshoot mask, which is for those that don't know what the original version versus the reshoot is. Halloween 6 had a lot of reshoots a couple months before it came out into theaters, which is known as the theatrical cut. The producer's cut is more the traditional. There was no alterations to the mask, no nothing, no problems with the mask. It is what it was. The reshoot still had that Halloween 6 mask look to it, but it looked a little bit more haggard and worn, and that's because like one of the production people poured chemicals on the masks and stuff and kind of warped them and made them look weird, which is why Brad Harden was hired for the reshoots to repaint a lot of them because they were damaged. So for those that say, well, Brad worked on the initial shoot, no, he didn't. There's an interview out there where he's talking about the death of Donald Pleasance, where he flat out says, I never met Donald Pleasance because I didn't work on the original shoot. I came in for the reshoots. So for those that says, well, yeah, he was the guy that worked on the mask. Actually, he wasn't. John Carl Beekler was. And his FX team was the guys that worked on the original mask. So the CGP H6 V2 always looked like the reshoot mask to me. Always did. And in 2009, I was able to score a production mold when CGP was battling their problems back then. And I'm not even going to get into it. It doesn't even matter. I was able to score some like the production mold from that. Then a couple of years later, Terry and I worked out some sort of a trade where I got something. I got his original H6 V2 master versus a production mold. I got the actual master. So I grabbed that, and that became known as the Reigning Red. That was the name of the mask. I renamed it because I'm not CGP. I'm I'm definitely not doing a V2. So I'm like, why would I call it the CGP H6 V2? Makes no sense. I got the mold now. I got the master. Let's just call it the Reigning Red. Then the Reigning Red, for those are like, well, where did that name come from? It's that little girl underneath the tree where Barry Sims is freaking eviscerated up in the tree and bleeding all over and saying it's raining red.
I love that
And so
name.
that's where the name came from. It's Raining Red.
My music love Peter Gabriel a lot because I love Peter Gabriel.
Right.
Raining, that song.
Red rain is coming down. Red rain. Red rain is pouring down all over me.
Yeah, but I think of that song every time.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
In the concerts. That's, we all relate what we love. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I hear the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, that in 2009 when I was just like, my goal in 2009 was just to do up some of those H6 masks, the Raining Red masks, for a season, like to pay for a cruise or something. That's really what it was. I was working for a film college at the time, and I was a career advisor at the time.
Was it Full
And
Sail?
yes,
Okay.
I was there, and I was sensing my time was coming to an end because I told, and this is what you want from a career advisor, is you want to be advised, if you're a student, from someone who's worked in the industry, what to expect. Full Sail had a very big problem with the fact that I was brutally honest with people, and I didn't give them their pamphlet, this is what you're going to be Spielberg when you graduate here speech. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to people that are gonna have $80,000 loans that they got to repay in 6 months. My job as your advisor is to advise you, to put you in the best place to be able to pay back those loans, to get into the industry, teach you how to fish, basically. So I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. If you're telling me that you're going to Silhouette Falls, South Dakota, there's no film production there. You might want to go somewhere else, and they didn't like that. But once I started sensing that my time was coming to an end there because of those things, I ramped up production. I started buying other molds. But back on the Raining Red, that was a staple in early years of wMp for several years before I came out with the Wicked Red, which is the Wicked Red is just a retool of that. But I ended up shelving that mask for quite a number of years because going back to those other H6 topics with SSN started selling off a lot of their molds or masters, and the Curse popped up, and the George P. Wilbur Signature Series popped up, and the 6 popped up, and I bought them. And so the Raining Red, by 2018, and it had a 9-year run. I think that's a pretty solid run. Was shelved for a while, like it was forgotten about, because it's like, well, if I got ties to the movie mold and not a I don't want to say a fan sculpt, because the Raining Red was not a fan sculpt, but it was not a direct casting or a direct movie mold replica, direct from source material, which all SSN masks all were. Either they came from movie molds or they came from direct castings from the movie molds. So if I'm a collector, why would I buy a Raining Red when I can have something from the movie mold? Which is, as a collector, that's what I'm after anyway. So from that perspective, I shelved the Raining Red and didn't give it a second thought for several years. But as the economy kept dipping and kept dipping and kept dipping, and I came out with that economy H1, I'm like, well, shit, it's like that price point way back in 2009. It's like I could do that price point again on the Reigning Red because people may not be able to buy the movie mold castings. So why not go with something that is economy friendly? It still looks good, looks great. I still love the Reigning Red. It has a very mean, angry, traditional H6 look to it. So for those of you that just want an H6 mask that want something better than mass-produced stock finishes, you can get an independent finish. You can get an independent H6 mask that is a staple in the hobby, not just for me. Put it this way. I kept the mask going. Terry's the one that made that mask famous. It wasn't me. I just was lucky enough to get the mold and get the master and keep the mask running. And my passion for that film's mask made me will always want to push the envelope and make it better constantly. So Terry gets all the credit for that, not me, to put it on the map. But the name the Reigning Red H6 mask maybe was made famous by me, but the actual mold was all Terry. But my goal is like once I started seeing the response to the economy H1, the Econo 78, I was like, well, why not bring the Reigning Red back and just offer an economy version for collectors that want an independent mask for a decent price but don't have the funds because the economy sucks and people's money is not stretching as far as it did 5-6 years ago. Why not give them that opportunity to still have that? Because at the end of the day, it's like if people aren't buying masks, I'm not working, I'm not able to pay my bills. So I still want to be able to pay my bills and still be able to do the things I love to do for the people I love to do them for. But at the end of the day, it's like if people can't afford them because everything's so expensive nowadays, well then why not bring back a staple or a classic that was already at that price point to begin with and give it to them? What's the harm in it? I have it. It's collected dust. It's not being produced. What's it doing?
Right.
Should be on somebody's head or on somebody's shelf. Period.
I was going to ask, how's your
Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
no,
My bad.
You're good. I was going to ask, how's your response been to the economy line versus like say wMp or Mask Brothers? How's that going as well?
Well, Mask Brothers, let's just start there. First of all, I love both guys. I love Matt Reed. I love Rick Ramby. They're two of my best friends in the hobby, and we've never had an argument.
I would love to have those guys on here. Sorry, Chris.
You should.
Would love
They're
to
great
Man,
guys.
Rick's
They're
a good
great
dude.
guys.
For sure.
I'm so selfish there. I meant to say we would love to have them on here. I'm sorry. I really am.
No need.
Well, I'm not going to get on and tell his business, but I know that Matt has been venturing out something that he made it public, so I can say this. He went to get into nursing school. He got into nursing school and he just graduated, and so he took more of a backseat to mask making for quite a long time because, like, put it this way, I saw him in June of 2022 for a convention. And put it this way, Matt and we used to talk sometimes daily, but always weekly. But ever since that con, it has been not very often we've been able to get together because he has been so busy. But so on top of that, for the last few years, Rick has been steadily dialing back because the responsibility of his job has picked up and picked up and picked up. The Mask Brothers side of things, like, we're all still friends. We'll all still do projects together. We'll all still share stuff. That's not a problem. It's just out of the three of us, I think I'm the one that's the most active out of the three. But we're all still very, very, very close friends. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, speaking of being active, is there anything with being, here we are, celebrating the New Year's? Is there anything that you, Mr. Morgan, White Mass Productions, are you working on anything currently right now that you would like to share with the rest of the world? Or for all of our valuable listeners out there?
I dropped a teaser, you know, like I'm coming out with that wMp 75 V2, which is basically, for anybody that has been following for the last several years, the MB75 limited edition project that the Mass Brothers, that's what MB stands for, Mass Brothers, that we came out with was a casting of a 75 Kirk that we enlarged and made our own. I don't want to say modification because there really wasn't any modifications. It's just whenever you enlarge something, you've got to try and bring it back to the look of the source because you're stretching it, you're growing it, so naturally it's going to elongate, or it's going to do this, or it's going to do that.
You're making me feel loved here for the big people out there that need masks.
So
come on.
But no, like literally the 75 Kirk casting that Matt had, literally it fit on my fist.
Really?
Wow. It was that small. So I mean, for anybody that wanted to wear something, it needed to be enlarged. So it was quite the process, you know, of getting it to size. And then we were like, well, let's make it a limited edition run. Then it got down to the point where we all decided that, hey, we all need a casting of this, and whatever we decide to do with it is totally fine. I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for me. I know, and when I say this, somebody's out there is gonna hear it and they're gonna go, well, everybody else has done that idea. You picked up off of everybody else. I can't tell you when everybody else had their idea to do it, but I can tell you right now, I know when I did this was 2 years ago. I 3D scanned that casting and then I 3D printed it 2 years ago. And I had them lock the coordinates of the size I wanted, and I blew it up to the normal size. So what you're seeing with the wMp 75 V2 is I was trying on my V1, which I'm sure somebody's seen pictures of it.
I got it right over there.
I was trying to make it. Yeah. I was trying to make it.
Here, let me go.
Almost a continuation of. Yeah, go ahead. I was trying to make it more of a continuation of the MB75 since it was a limited edition run. But I wanted that MB project to stay its own because that's something that us three did together. And I'm like, I don't want to just come out with another MB75. I want it to be special. There you go. That's it.
It's so amazing. I'm sorry. It's just, folks, and I'm interrupting. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I want you to think about this when you're investing into your collection. Listen very carefully to what Morgan's talking about, how much he is seriously thinking about the science behind this.
I've said it before. I'll fucking say it again. Dude's an encyclopedia. I mean, you just got to respect it, honestly.
Oh God, when we were doing our first episode for season 2, as I'm over Chris's original man cave, I mean, I was just like, I was falling in love with certain masks. Of course, as we all have, we have a certain, you know, it's how it is. But just listening to you right now, I'm like, this is so fascinating, and I'm hoping people can appreciate the behind the scenes of what it takes, of what you have someone here, Morgan, creating what he's doing. He's not just, you know, okay, this is what you do. You add some peanut butter, you add some plaster, you add some tape, do this. No, there's more to it. He's explaining to you why, at least on this version here.
the H6 research. I mean, the level that he has of it is just like fucking insane to me. I could listen to you talk about H6 lore and stuff like that for probably ever. Because I'm just sitting here and I'm like, this is fucking great. Because I love H6 so much, and I don't,
Well, what's funny is my H6 paint ups, especially on my 6 SIX and my George P. Wilbur SIG series and my Curse, are all done with a 5-layer process.
Wow.
Every one of them. It's very very intricate, very time consuming. But back on this Kirk,
Oh yeah, my bad.
I took that 3D print that I've had done for 2 years and I molded it, and all it needed was a little detail added to the brows. 3D printing has come a long way, but it's still not perfect. Still not perfect. And so there needed to be like some of the detail that was already there, but maybe that wasn't depth wise there, needed to be put back. So my process was to go clean up the 3D print and put back in the detail that originally was in that scan. It was all there. It just needed to be enhanced just a little bit. And when I say enhanced, I'm not talking about a full refinement. I'm just saying just popped here and there, just dialed in a little bit, cleaned up. And that's really all it is. So the wMp 75V2 is really the source material of that 3D scan and print.
I'm just waiting for the house to sell, and then
I know,
man. I want them so bad.
I try to remind privately on that. I try to remind Mr. Webb on that privately every once in a while, but I don't need to. He has his bills in front of him. I want to ask another question to this, and if you guys want to go on other stuff, that we can do whatever we want to, because we're hanging out down in the man cave. Webb, I know you've got a million questions right now, so I don't want to interrupt. And while you're doing that, guys, I got to refill as you could. So the website, shut the fuck up. I got some stuff to ask.
You're going through them faster than I am. I got a question though, Scott. Before you, oh, he's already gone. Shit.
Chris and I want to thank you for listening or watching Meet Us in the Man Cave. Since you enjoyed watching us, make sure you want to tell all your friends about us, subscribe today, and click on that notification bell. It's going to be helping you being reminded when our next episode is uploaded, or even possibly a live stream video. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. You can listen or download to Meet Us in the Man Cave on your favorite podcasting app, available to stream or download so you can listen to us all you want, whenever you want. For more information, go to meetusinthemancave.podbean.com.